When we ask the question, is a $200,000 luxury car worth it? We are diving into a world that is far more complex than simply comparing numbers on a price tag. Because a vehicle that costs $200,000 does not just represent transportation, it represents a lifestyle, a statement, a blend of art, engineering, status, and passion that goes far beyond the mechanics of getting from one point to another. And so to truly explore whether such a car is worth it, we have to peel back the layers and understand what these machines really are, what they provide, what they symbolize, and what they mean both to their owners and to the broader culture of automotive enthusiasts, collectors, and dreamers. At its core, a $200,000 luxury car sits in a fascinating middle ground in the automotive market because it isn't quite in the stratospheric level of multi-million-dollar hypercars like a Bugatti Chiron or Pagani Huayra, yet it isn't in the more accessible range of $50,000 to $80,000 premium vehicles like a Mercedes S-Class or BMW 7 Series either. It is positioned as a halo product for major luxury brands and in some cases, as an entry into the world of true exotic motoring, which makes it a very interesting point of discussion. Because when someone spends $200,000 on a car, they are making a very deliberate choice that combines emotion, rational justification, financial capacity, and personal desire. Now, let's consider what makes such a car command this price. First and foremost, engineering excellence plays a massive role, as vehicles at this price point are built with materials and techniques that are often derived from motorsport or aerospace, including extensive use of carbon fiber, aluminum, titanium, and other lightweight high-strength alloys. And these not only enhance performance but also longevity and safety, while under the hood, or sometimes under the floor in the case of electric luxury cars, you'll find engines and powertrains that are marvels of mechanical and electronic synergy, whether that be a hand-built V8, V12, or hybrid system producing upwards of 600 horsepower, or advanced EV drivetrains with instant torque and futuristic battery technology, meaning that the performance figures you get are often staggering, with many $200,000 luxury cars being capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds, sometimes even dipping into the 3-second range, which is faster than most dedicated sports cars of just a decade ago, and on the road. That translates into effortless acceleration, supreme confidence in overtaking, and a visceral thrill every time you put your foot down. And then there is the handling and ride quality, which is engineered to be both supremely comfortable and astonishingly precise, with adaptive suspension systems, active aerodynamics, rear-wheel steering, torque vectoring, and all manner of technological wizardry designed to make 2 tons of metal feel agile and composed in ways that defy physics. So when you drive one, you experience a sense of command and connection that is very hard to replicate in less expensive vehicles, and that, right there, is part of what you are paying for. But beyond performance, we must talk about design, because design is arguably one of the most visible and impactful aspects of a $200,000 luxury car, and at this level, design is not just about looks, it is about identity, presence, and emotional reaction. These cars are often styled to be rolling sculptures, with bold, confident lines, aggressive yet elegant stances, and details that draw your eye from every angle, details like laser-cut headlights, sculpted grills, flush door handles, hidden aerodynamic features, and interiors that feel like a cross between a 5-star suite and a private jet cockpit. The smell of the leather, the softness of the materials, the tactile feel of knurled metal knobs and precision-milled controls, the ambient lighting that can shift with your mood, and the digital displays that integrate seamlessly with analog craftsmanship, all combine to create an environment that is designed not just for comfort, but for a sense of occasion every time you step inside. And if you have ever sat inside a Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, or top-spec Porsche, you know exactly what I mean, because the cabin makes you feel like you've entered a sanctuary that isolates you from the noise and stress of the world outside. And in that cocoon, you realize that you are not just buying a car. You are buying an experience. And then we must discuss exclusivity, because part of what makes a $200,000 car worth it to many is the fact that it is rare. It is not something you see on every street corner, and depending on the brand and model, it might be produced in very limited numbers, or customized so uniquely that no two are exactly alike. The sense of pride, status, and individuality for the owner, because in a world where mass production dominates, owning something unique, something few others have, carries immense emotional and social weight. And make no mistake, status is a big part of the equation here, because when you roll up in a $200,000 car, whether it's a Ferrari Roma, Porsche 911 Turbo S, Bentley Continental GT, or Mercedes-Maybach, people notice, people respect, people admire, and sometimes people envy, and that visibility is something many owners embrace, as it signals success, achievement, and aspiration. So in that sense, worth is also about what the car communicates to others. But Of course, not everyone sees it that way, and many argue that spending $200,000 on a car is excessive, irresponsible, or even absurd when compared to the alternatives. Because for the same money, you could buy a perfectly nice $50,000 daily driver and invest the remaining $150,000 into real estate, stocks, or businesses that could grow your wealth, or you could buy multiple cars, perhaps a sports car, an SUV, and a comfortable sedan, and still have money left over, and that argument makes sense from a purely financial perspective. But the counterpoint is that cars at this level are not rational purchases, they are emotional purchases, they are passion-driven, because if life were purely about utility, we would all be driving the cheapest, most efficient vehicles available, but human beings crave more. We crave beauty, we crave thrill, we crave experiences that make us feel alive, and that is what a $200,000 luxury car delivers. So to the right person, it is worth every penny. And let's not forget the craftsmanship and heritage that often come with these vehicles, because when you buy a Bentley or Rolls-Royce, you are buying into over a century of tradition, into a story that connects royalty, celebrities, innovators, and icons. When you buy a Porsche, you are buying into decades of motorsport success and engineering refinement. When you buy a Ferrari, you are buying a piece of Italian artistry and racing DNA, and those intangible heritages are baked into the car in ways you can't always quantify, but you feel them every time you drive, every time you park it in your garage and glance back before walking away. And yes, that glance back, the one where you just have to look at your car again, is a major part of the ownership experience, because these cars inspire passion in ways cheaper cars rarely do. Of course, there are also practical considerations to discuss, such as maintenance, insurance, and depreciation, because owning a $200,000 car comes with responsibilities and costs beyond the purchase price. Maintenance can be extremely expensive, insurance premiums are much higher, parts may need to be imported, and not every mechanic can work on these machines. So you are often tied to dealer networks, which means higher service bills, and then there's depreciation. Because while some models hold value well, or even appreciate if they are rare enough, most will lose tens of thousands of dollars in value the moment you drive off the lot. So financially speaking, it may not be the smartest move, but again, worth is not always financial, and for many, the joy and satisfaction far outweigh the losses, because the memories you create, the feeling of driving something extraordinary, and the pride of ownership are things money cannot replace. And let us also acknowledge the rise of electric luxury cars at this price point, because companies like Tesla, Lucid, and Porsche with their Taycan have shown that the future of luxury performance is shifting toward electrification, and these $200,000 EVs are redefining what it means to own a luxury vehicle, offering not just blistering acceleration and futuristic technology, but also a sense of sustainability and forward-thinking that appeals to modern buyers. And as battery technology and charging infrastructure improve, we will likely see even more innovation in this segment, making the question of worth evolve alongside technological progress. In the end, whether a $200,000 luxury car is worth it depends entirely on perspective, on priorities, and on what you value most in life. If you value practicality, savings, and long-term financial security, then probably not. It's not worth it. You'll see it as an indulgence too extreme for its returns. But if you value craftsmanship, performance, status, exclusivity, design, heritage, and the pure joy of experiencing one of the most refined machines humanity can create, then yes, absolutely, it is worth it, because for those who can afford it, a $200,000 car is not a liability, it is a dream realized, a passion fulfilled, and a piece of living art that makes every drive an occasion, every journey a memory, and every glance back a smile. And that, ultimately, is the true measure of worth. Whether something brings you a sense of fulfillment, joy, and pride that nothing else can replicate. And for many, that is exactly what a $200,000 luxury car provides, making it not just a car, but an experience, a statement, and a reward for success that cannot be measured purely in dollars and cents.